Hello, welcome to Meditation Nerd. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're doing well. Excuse me, my voice this week has been struggling. So, I wanted to do some reflection on tribalism after, actually, a lot of the books that I've been reading, it's kind of been highlighting some of the ways I've been bubbling myself. I've been unwilling to listen to certain aspects of various things. And so I wanted to spend some time with that today. So I would ask you to sit with your own ways that you are either already being more tribalistic, whether it's, certain bubbles, it's ways that you siloed yourself, or certain mentalities that are leading you to walk down towards tribalism. So I think all of us can see different ways where we're funneled into certain ways to think, certain ways to see. Um, this is so broad and sweeping that I think all of us can admit that there are certain areas in our life where we're, at the very least, unwilling to listen to certain aspects. So I wanted to sit with my own. Now, you are welcome to just focus on the word tribalism. You're welcome to maybe look at some examples where you wish you had listened a little bit more closely or um, handled the situation a little differently. Um, I'm not going to be tuning in. I'm just going to be chanting. I did drop the mantra that we'll be using today, which is Humee Hum. Basically, we are we, the other is you. Mantras can help me get a little bit closer to things that normally I can't just sit with mindfully for whatever reason. I can be a little obstinate when it comes to things I've been doing for a while. So the one of the examples I keep coming back to throughout is closing my heart. That seems to be the biggest challenge for me, keeping my heart open. So now I realize that my framing of this could potentially also be off-putting. And well, good, because tribalism is off-putting. So um, the way that we're going, societally speaking, where we're unwilling to engage with each other is problematic to say the least. So, not that I'm trying to start anything, it's just, I feel like this is a very important thing that we should step into. At the very least, we should look at, right? Mantras help me do that much more easily and with support instead of just, chastising myself, which isn't going to lead to much other than me feeling horrible, and then I'm less likely to sit with it, right? So I have dropped Mirabai Selva. My apologies if I'm mispronouncing the artist name. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to pronounce that. I really do love their music. Their style of singing is wonderful, and I think there are several songs where they use a harp, which I absolutely love. So feel free to use the artists that I've dropped in the description or your own, and feel free to go ahead and tune in a traditional fashion if you would like to. I'm just going to go ahead and close my eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Feel free to join me. Okay, yeah, we'll do one more. Okay, so what I'm planning to do on my end is I will be chanting the mantra out loud to start. I'm largely just going to be reflecting on the things that I noticed while I was reading Why Buddhism is True, just different ways that I would approach things that brought up tension in my body. So that to me is indicative that that's not aligned, right? There's something there that isn't aligned with what I'm looking to do, or it's causing suffering, it's causing tension, it's causing issues. So I'm just going to kind of go through those to start, and then just see where it unfolds. If there's anything in my body that comes up that wants more attention, I'll spend more time there. The mantra is about 12 minutes, so I plan to go the full 12 minutes. Of course, please honor your window of tolerance, honor your boundaries. If you only need 3 minutes, cool. If you'd like to stay for the entire 12, you're also welcome to do that. Please honor where you are. I do know that this is a heavy topic. That's why I'm trying to leave it as open as possible. And something I do just want to remind everyone of, please don't beat yourself up. This is meant to be a reflection. It's meant to be a space where we can step into these uncomfortable aspects so that we can heal them, right? So that when we're just out and about, these aren't like automatically happening, that we can make a different choice, that we can be more open, loving, caring, present, right? So just want to remind anyone of that in case you needed to hear it. Oh, that's way too loud. Okay. Hum, hum, to me, to I am thine and mine, myself, why hum, hum, to me, to why I am thine and mine, myself, why All right, so I'm already hitting some pretty heavy stuff, reflecting on some of the ways I'm bubbling. So I'm going to add some tapping here while we go through. It's already kicking off with some intensity. So I'm doing exactly what I'm asking myself to and allowing this to show up clearly. So, excuse me, in order for me to stay with it, I'm going to go ahead and add some tapping. And I'm just tapping at the collarbone point. Feel free to combine tapping as well if you would like to. Okay, and then I'm gonna tap a little bit on the karate chop point, which is just the side of the hand. So if you hear sort of a light clapping, that's me just tapping the sides of my hands together. I don't know why I prefer to do it this way. I think it's because it feels more like solid or I don't know, comforting somehow instead of just tapping with my fingers. You can do that too if you prefer. That's perfectly fine as well. I don't know, somehow that doesn't feel as solid or something. And then I've just started moving through the tapping points because apparently that's what's needed to help me maintain for this one. I need that extra support. So Okay, perfect. Go ahead and inhale, exhale, and we'll just sit for a moment. Just notice any changes, anything that feels stuck. Couple more deep breaths here. Give yourself a moment to actually be with the experience and how you feel now. All right, one more inhale, exhale. Okay, perfect. And then I'll just say Satnam as a way to close the space. And then just a couple of things that I wanted to talk about at the end. One of the ways that I do this when I'm dealing with either an ambiguous topic that I feel is important to sit with, or an issue like opening my heart that I know is going to be challenging or feels really challenging somatically, I will start on the edges. So sometimes the edge looks like just a blanket statement that brings a somatic experience that I can work through, and then progressively come closer to more direct experience, whether that's with someone I know or it's a situation that I didn't handle well, or that I frozen, that type of thing, where I'll slowly come closer into the center. The reason I didn't want to say that at the start is mostly because our meditative practices are our own. And I do think it's helpful to see what you reach for when you're just given kind of an open option, right? What's something that you reach for that's effective? What's something you reach for that's neutral? What's something you reach for that isn't necessarily helpful? Those are all needed when you're adapting your meditative practice, right? So tapping typically doesn't really help me day to day. I typically will reach for tapping when things get intense, like I did today, when it's overwhelming and it's kind of choppy. It's like I can't really stay with it. The somatic experience is really intense. That'll maintain. It's like a flashing screen. So I need that physical contact in order to help myself stay grounded in the experience and not drift off. Um, Mantras typically I reach for them every single day. They help me maintain, they're very grounding. Now, sometimes I do select the wrong mantra, or I will maintain a meditation with a mantra for too long, simply because it's easier. So my point here being that I'm aware of this because of sitting with, okay, so this is something I default reach for, and it's either helpful, neutral, or not helpful, right? Or there's a variation, like with tapping. Um, that's okay. It just, my point being is it took me a while to really kind of figure this out. So I'm sharing it with you in case you're you're similar in that regard, where sometimes something will work, but not overall. You don't reach for it every day. Um, what else was I gonna say? That might be it. I thought there was something else. Yes, so I realize that tribalism is a very ambiguous term. It has a lot of different meanings. It presents in a multitude of ways. Um, I did want to start with a more ambiguous term that is heavy so that we can sit with it. We can see how it shows up for us specifically. What different angles are we coming at it from? How are we exhibiting it? What paths may we be taking in order to head in that direction, right? because again, that's important. So if there's any aspect that you felt was coming up that you'd like to see me make a meditation or pair with a mantra or anything like that, feel free to drop it in the comments and I'd be happy to take a look at that and see how we can put something together that could help. And my stomach's starting to gurgle. I think I forgot to eat breakfast. Anyway, the point being that as I said in a previous live, I forget which one, um, depth is what I'm looking for now with my meditative practice, and that means these uncomfortable places. I really hope that you're seeing other people in meditative spaces speak about these types of things, because it's needed. Our meditative practice is more than, excuse me, more than strong enough for us to bring these topics and what we're seeing societally into our meditative practice to sit with, to heal, so that we're not adding to it, right? So that we can help others to elevate and also not contribute to it. So that's my plan, is to continue to bring up these sensitive topics because they're important, because our meditative practice is strong enough to hold them, to heal them, at least within ourselves. That's not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not trying to dismiss the weight or any part of that aspect. Simply stating that I know that my meditative practice is more than strong enough to hold this as each layer becomes clearer and as it shows itself to be needed for me to sit with. So just wanted to point that out, that I'm going to continue to bring up uncomfortable topics. I'm going to continue to reflect with topics that I don't know how to hold well, that I'm struggling with, because that's what my meditative practice is for. So I hope you will join me. And these are not, like I said, it's not necessarily going to be easy or comfortable. So um, I appreciate you sitting with me while we reflect on tribalism, the way that we're seeing it in the world, the way that we're starting to engage with it, whether it's bubbles, it's silos, however it's showing up in our lives, um, via our own direct action, right? So that we can sit with that and change that behavior. So, again, thank you for joining me. I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you next time.